Assalamu alaikum, good afternoon listeners, it's me Sulaiman Ben Suare. If you just give me a minute, I will share this video and the program will start. Just bear me a minute. The program will start. Okay, thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon, listeners. It's me, Sulaiman Ben Suare, coming to you Facebook Live. And the discussion will be regarding accountability and transparency, the current, obviously citing the KMC saga. And the program is going to start from issues I wanted to talk about before, and having learned about the KMC saga, and this is about the issues surrounding the APRC debacle, the APRC under Adama Barrow. Why is this discussion very important? It's to inform our people again. Our people, I mean the people that supports the APRC. As I always said, I have mutual respect for the people that vote, but I don't have respect for the leadership of the APRC, because they know what they're in for and what they're going for. It's not the interest of the people they led. It's not for the interest of Gambia. But that's why we need to engage them, and we need to engage each other, just as we engage other political parties, and why we engage this government. And my point is here. This is what I'm going to put here. Yaya Jammeh and those around Yaya Jammeh that says they support Yaya Jammeh, that's what they do. They support Yaya Jammeh for what they can get from Yaya Jammeh, or what they can get from that environment. They are not doing it for the support of anything, not ethnicity, not region, not anything else. They will want to make you believe that that's what they're doing, because this is the kind of information they take on different quarters. They want to make you believe that they're protecting, they are supporting APRC or Yaya Jammeh to protect something. That's all lies. This is what they're doing because to gain support from sentiments from our people that might not be very aware, socially aware of certain things, in order for them to be relevant, in order for them to get what they want. And they don't care about the consequences of this, the state of affairs and what it can do to our society. They don't care about the 22 years of dictatorship. There's no person who can claim to be a good person to continue to support Yaya Jammeh after all the revelations. We lived through it anyway. But even though if you have doubts with the victims coming out to testify, I think that was enough. There's no other reason. And we cannot equip development with human lives and values. Because one thing we lost and losing further is the human values. And once we lose those human values, what is development there for? What are we developing? Who are we developing for? The 22 years make us to lose our civilization, makes us to lose our values and everything that Gambia was known for or stand for. And that's why we needed to regain that space in order to restore civility back to society, in order to develop. And I will start doing this. The reason I'm doing this, there's more it's not new information. Let's just say there's information being put out there again. And it's important to go through this information as evidence. It's not new to us. We know about it. We know the existence of this information. We shared this information before. But that's communication. At times you need to reshare, you re-engage and recommunicate for it to get to the people that you want to convince. You have to try and keep on doing that to win their confidence. And why is it this important? This information is coming from official sources, from international bodies, and people might able to relate to this more. One might able to relate to this more. And this was published in the Point newspaper in the Gambia, I believe so. And it says, right groups demand Jammeh hand over to ICC as UK sanction his host. I would say here, when we say that what we do online or advocate online is not the end of what we try to contribute. There are Gambians in civil society, independent Gambians behind the scenes, following to make sure justice is done, not only in the Gambia, but wherever the perpetrators are. And if, God willing, the United Kingdom government with the United States are working on getting all those people, the United Kingdom will work on getting all those people that have any UK residence or ties that have involved in the 22 years of what happened in the country. I'll tell you that everyone, his brother and others would not escape because of they have a British citizenship or not. We hope so. That's what we're working on and we are pushing. And the UK government has been very responsive and things are developing. And this is important to know. That's why when we said that Barrow have nothing that he can guarantee Jammeh, we said, I keep on saying that. You see, when I went into my analysis, most of the time I point to evidence to say, look, this is what we're talking about. And Jammeh knows this. Jammeh knows that Barrow cannot give him what he wants. And the most valuable thing for Jammeh and every Gambian or any person is freedom. His freedom cannot be guaranteed by Adama Barrow. That be externally or internally. Internally is up to us Gambians. If we allow that, it's up to us Gambians. But international would ensure they follow the due process and the rule of law. International law would be exercised. That's why the ICC was created for this impunity. Yes, people will say it's unfair on Africans or whatever it is. What we are concerned about is what good we get from it. The unfairness, if they are not picking, they are not coming to Africa to pick good people. If they are coming to Africa to help us pick the bad people, fine. That's to our interest. This is why we support the ICC on that. But what I'm saying here is he cannot, Barrow cannot, and Jammeh knows that. I keep on saying, Jammeh can be very foolish. But he do take his time to think about certain things. I don't know where the evil comes from at times to act, most of the time to act. But he could have been more sensible because he do look at issues, but his greed and probably his satanic practice led him to be who he is. And hence, Barrow cannot give him what he wants. Why would Jammeh go and support Barrow to stay in power? What Jammeh will get from it? It's not financial. It's not his freedom. Common sense. If we don't tell the people that support the APRC this common sense, these are our people, they'll keep on fighting each other for something, and that fighting, that anger and everything else can trigger, can be a fault line, I keep on saying it, can be a fault line, a catalyst to destabilization. We should not allow that. We are one family. We are one family. We can have our political differences. What we make sure is the peace and tranquility of that country and the democracy. That's the system we believe in, to take its course. The rule of law will follow. And we'll come to it now. Then, hence, that cannot happen. And then any negotiation talk about is a fraud. Any negotiation they talk about from the APRC is a fraud. It's all for them to benefit. They cannot do anything, and Jammeh knows that. That's why Jammeh was not interested. The second fact I will tell you, was Jammeh held negotiations without the APRC executive knowing anything about it. Jammeh exhausted those negotiations. Yes, I know of the Gambian lawyer that was representing Jammeh in those negotiations. Just tells you that even the executive don't know nothing about Jammeh. So some of them have admitted they haven't spoken to Jammeh for a long time. I know of these negotiations going on. It never yielded what Jammeh wanted. That's why the negotiation. They have in vain gone to the extent of involving sub-regional leaders, Guinea-Conakry, Equatorial Guinea, Guinea-Bissau. They tried all that. Jammeh would not budge. Jammeh asked for things, and Barrow cannot do those things or guarantee those things. The talks failed. They abandoned the talks. It failed. It failed completely. They abandoned those talks. And I will tell you again, those talks started during when Yahya Jammeh's mother passed away. During those diplomatic discussions, when they tried to arrange. In fact, Barrow did agree for Jammeh to come for a few days in the Gambia to mourn his mother, to bury and mourn his mother and go back. When Senegal was contacted because of the security arrangements, what happened? Senegal said no. The second best thing that they could allow was to allow Jammeh to hire a plane that he can stay within the airspace of the Gambia in order to monitor the procession. That's what he was given. That was he was given. Then after that issue, then the SISDG, Tangara, they flew. Before they flew out, the Obiang's daughter or nephew or niece or daughter, I think was the daughter, that came with the coffin, was invited at State House, and they forwarded this request that they want to come and have a mediation for the Equatorial Guinea government to facilitate this with Jammeh. They said for Jammeh final return. That was just after the burial. Go and look at the archives. Tangara, Usman Sow, the SISDG, they flew out to Equatorial Guinea. It was meant to be a secret. When we came online and exposed the trip, then officially the State House, or the government, published the trip. But they said it's for bilateral relationship, for trade and tourism or whatever. It was all a lie. Where is that agreement? Where's the bilateral agreement or anything else? That's when it started. Up to the last minute, they involved Guinea-Conakry, they involved other, they involved some Marab, I don't want to call them Marab, what do they call them? Yeah, they are Marabus, but people that close to Yahya, they tried everything. It did not work. It was abandoned. It was abandoned. Now, what Gambians should ask themselves, if the executive saying that they haven't spoken to Yahya, how can you be negotiating something that you don't have, because there's nothing they can decide on. The final decision has to come to Yahya. But none of them will tell you that during the negotiation, they've been contacting Yahya to furnish him with new information or what confidence building mechanism have they got? Because in negotiation, you have to build the confidence. What have Barrow given to build the confidence? Have Barrow removed the Senegalese contingent in Buyam? Remember, the Senegalese contingent are not under economic. It's a bilateral agreement. Why are they there for Yahya and the Pacific? And whoever said that it's because of Casamance rebel is a lie. There's no strategy. There's no strategic need to deal with Senegalese Casamance rebels by having a contingent in Buyam. That's a lie. Senegal have their intelligence all over the Gambia. Whatever they want to know about the rebels within the Gambia, they know that. They knew that even imagine what they can tell you now. That's not the issue. What about the properties? What about other things? You see, these are things we should all no confidence building measure. What sort of negotiation is that? That was a lie. They were negotiating for themselves, negotiating to continue the life they live. This is the same thing they do. They stay with the IMF just for the same reason, and they will stay with anybody who is in power. They don't believe in anything, but they will mislead the people. That's why it's important to engage these issues. It's not about Yahya Jammeh is gone and dusted. I mean, he has to wait to face his future. But Yahya Jammeh have no future with the Gambia. I tell you that. APRC cannot be anything else apart from completely disintegrated. It's a matter of time. What took this time longer even is because our opposition and our politicians, for that matter, have not conducted themselves the right way. They will not have fight over anything, but they give the opportunity. They sanitize it, because some of our behavior is sanitizing the APRC. The behavior of this government sanitizes the APRC. This is the problem we have. If we have conducted ourselves properly, APRC would be normal. Nobody would have. If we have engaged the people, I mean the Gambian people, if we had done the right things, if we had had a transitional government that does the right thing, no, we try to go and be what do you call it, fraternizing or associating with the APRC leadership, thinking that would give us support. Look, this leadership have no influence onto the grassroots. And what holds the grassroots is ignorance. I'm not insulting them, sorry. It's the manipulation of Yahya Jammeh. That's what holds the grassroots. That's why you can see these people, when they talk about Yahya Jammeh, they talk about Yahya Jammeh in person. There are no bad people. They believe in him. They believe in whatever is been sold to them. And they are genuine supporters. They like him. Yes, we have a problem with that. But we cannot force that out of them. We need to engage them. That's what democracy says. We don't need to engage the leadership. They are bankrupt people. We need to engage the people. They are our families. Every Gambian here, by extension, have a family who supports APRC. By extension, I mean. Then what's the problem? They are not aliens. They are not. They are us. Just as other people support other parties. What do we do? Why not we go and get the support that we want? But we have to do that by engaging in them respectfully. We have to do that by being reasonable and have a discussion. It's a fraud that they try to carry out. There's nothing confidence. There's nothing like a negotiation. And what proves this, again, is here. The article, I'll read from the article. Right groups, I think from the point, right groups demand Jammeh hand over to ICC as UK sanction his host. The United Kingdom has finally authorized new sanctions against Neme Obiang, Vice President and son of Equatorial Guinea President. Obiang Neme Macheni, he is also the friend and host for former Gambian dictator Yahya Jammeh. You see? Now, the son, we spoke about this thing before. We talk about this. I mean, and giving reasons that why Yahya Jammeh can be dealt with easily. It's just that the Gambia government have never advanced to try anything. And I tell you the other reason the Gambia government did not. And I hope the next government of the Gambia will be serious in going after Yahya Jammeh finances. The only reason they didn't go for Yahya Jammeh finances is because of they don't want to touch on Amadou Samba. Because Yahya Jammeh finances are linked to Amadou Samba. Amadou Samba was the one managing. That's not me saying it. Amadou Samba said that in an interview with Koto Sidisane, that he was the manager. He was not a political advisor, but he was a manager for Yahya Jammeh. I hope next Gambia government goes for the finances of Jammeh. And if they follow that trail, Gambia will recover millions and millions of dollars, and probably $1 billion. But they will not only touch Yahya Jammeh, they will have to go for Amadou Samba. But in order to do that, you have to indict Jammeh. They don't want to indict Jammeh because of that would destabilize their political future, and that would in fact infringe on the agreement they have with Amadou Samba not to go after his finances. That's how corrupt Barrow is. That's how corrupt his government is. Because one of the accounts in Senegal was identified by Amadou Samba. And Barrow went with the Senegalese government to change that account to a sovereign account and give him permission, access to the account to be used as operational funds in the restoration and to instill him to power. You know about that account, and that account was linked to an account in Singapore. When we raised that thing, people thought we are stupid or mad or vindictive. They call us everything. Koto Sidi Sane came and even revealed more about the dealings of Amadou Samba and Zainab Jammeh in Dakar. People turned around and attacked Koto Sidi Sane on that. Just a few days ago, that same program I did on that, this thing, is on my timeline. The issue here is dictators, this is how they end up it. Dictators will end up this way, especially if their government goes after them. And now with the way the laws are, money laundering and other things, it's more difficult. Obiang's son now is under pressure. Yes, they are not, the West are not doing it for us, they're doing it for themselves. There are many reasons. You have to understand how this West could work. There are many reasons to go for Obiang. And let's not think that something is going to happen to Obiang. No, they're going to put pressure for Obiang, and I tell you, it's not if Obiang plays his card right, the family, what they will do, you see them, they will give concession to oil contracts and other things and stop the Chinese invasion. They don't want the Chinese to get this share of the market in the oil, this thing, and other countries. You see, we have to understand this politics. And I give you the example of this. Before the Arab Spring, Libya came out of the cold. Libya went into negotiation there, and what? Tony Blair ensured that everything Libya wanted was happening. Because of what? Tony Blair, at that time, he knew he was going to leave power, and already BP, British Petroleum, and even if he was not leaving power, they would do anything to support their industries. Just as the conservatives support Boeing and other industries for arms trade and others, the Labour government will support industries regardless of what policy they talk about having. We have to be very careful. These are not this thing. That's why we should always protect our interests. Where did Libya end up? Tony Blair, when he left office, he was a non-executive member's director for BP, doing lobbying for them. And still now he's doing it for other companies. That's why the importance of these things is not about what happens to Equatorial Guinea, but what will happen for Gambia. They will go after Yahya Jammeh because of their people behind the scenes to push for justice. Not this Gambia government. We'll continue. The article said that according to information seen by The Point, the sanctions were in pipeline for several months and followed through review and in-depth pile of undisputed evidence. It had been finally authorized. Yes, the evidences are there. There are transactions in France, transactions in Europe, within the European Union, and transactions in America. The facts are out there. The facts are out there. There's no need to think about or how this is going to. No, the facts are there. They have it. It's easy to indict him, and they holding him to pressure. But I said that's not what interests us. What interests us is the demand here. Meanwhile, prominent right groups as well as respected elites and members of the country opposition are demanding Obiang to do the right thing and hand over Jammeh. Now, you see, that's why I say when you negotiate, you have to win confidence. Now, they are using Jammeh as a bait. Now, Equatorial Guinea hold Jammeh as a trophy. Now, they are holding this as a bait. Now, they're giving Equatorial Guinea a way out. Now they can say, okay, Equatorial Guinea will say, look, we'll comply and give you Jammeh. But now we want to see how we can settle these things. Okay, they said, now you have to go as a government, to democratization. Pronounce. They don't care whether democracy is going to happen or not. Just you have to say the right things and show some effort of democratizing Equatorial Guinea. Change some laws, take some laws out, introduce some legislation, give some resemblance of freedom. Because the family can never give freedom to Equatorial Guinea. Then in that case, what we do is we say that because improvements, and we engage on this. You gave us Jammeh and you are doing these things, transparency is happening. Now we can have the relationship, but we ensure you give us license, BP Petroleum and other things into other things. That's what they do. That's why Jammeh is in hanging. Jammeh is already hung. Jammeh is already hung. Then why should Gambia allow someone who have lost everything to be so relevant into our politics? Because we have an incompetent government that cannot even know how to deal with these issues. If you wanted the APRC, you should have thought about something else. Go and deliver and see what would have happened. Deliver, improve the people's lives and see what's going to happen. Fix the hospital, fix the schools, let standard of living be improved. That way, you will not have bothered yourself into this. But no, he's incompetent, he's corrupt, and he's been controlled by Kabal. How do you expect him to improve? Now, if that is the reality, us Gambians in the opposition and opposing or are not with this, what are we doing to improve this? That's why it's our responsibility to engage in this discussion, to improve this. Improve this in a way to take the carpet off them. I am not saying no respected political party should go into alliance with APRC as a party. APRC as a party. Because if APRC will go to alliance with anybody, what's the trade-off? This is in fact an insult to the victim. This is the insult to everything Gambia should stand for. We should remember what the APRC stood for. I am not saying that the people within the APRC don't have right or don't go after those people to support your party or be part of your party. Those people would be judged according to what they have done. If they have broken the law or anything, if they morally bankrupt or anything, then you want to have them in your party, that's something that your opposition will have to deal with you. But they have the right. But as an entity, as a unit, as an organization, no credible opposition, no credible party should say that I will go into coalition with APRC. That's just should not be allowed. But again, this is why I'm saying now, these human rights groups and others have demanding Jammeh. Is this going to happen? It would have been speedier if it was the government of the Gambia who were interested. The government of Gambia would have been interested. And it continued. Nevertheless, UK Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab confirmed that the new sanctions against Theodorin is in regards to his misappropriation of state funds. The office also added that Theodorin had participated in corruption, contracting arrangements, and soliciting bribes to fund a loveless lifestyle in consistency with the official salary as a government minister. You see, people keep on asking, where's your evidence that he's corrupt? Even a government of the United Kingdom is saying, because of the salary he earned as a minister, doesn't look right, doesn't correspond on the opulent lifestyle they have. But that's another point I want to touch on. Tells you the opportunity, if any serious government comes into Gambia, to recover the funds, not only from the Yahya Jammeh government. I tell you, there's almost $1 billion. Almost $1 billion within the systems that Gambia government could have gone for, but we still have not. Ask yourself why? Because of their hands are tied, because of Adam Barrow corruption in Dakar. When we said that, people thought we were mad or jealous. They said everything, job seekers and everything. The facts are here. But over $1 billion. But this present government If you find out managing directors buying properties in in Europe, in America, in Canada, in Senegal is another thing. Senegal is multiple businesses and companies. I'll tell you, all that can be recovered. There's laws to govern all this corruption. All this can be recovered in a serious government. But that's why, as I said, it's important for us to build the mechanisms. It's important for us to hold on to transparency and accountability in order to listen. Let's come on to the other details. I need to explain. And again, I said, we're taking time on this. It's because of the risk posed by engaging the APRC, giving them relevance. We have to engage in this discussion to inform the people, our people, in the APRC. Because of the leadership have no interest, not Yahya Jammeh, not the what you call it, the executive. No, they have no interest. Now, and this will take us, I've just forgot about the article now. This will take us to something a friend of mine has shared from a forum. I did not know who wrote the article, but how it came about. Because he engaged me and I was explaining the issues, exposing actually the scam that was going on with the renegade members, because of it's not the entire APRC executive, renegade members of the APRC executive led by Fabakary Tombong, Trambo and others. The scam they play with those in the on social media, those I'm talking about is Samsa and Ibu Jallow. I just don't want to give them relevance. In the social media, the scam they were playing onto Jammeh, and the way Jammeh was knew about the scam and lay an ambush for them. Because I already explained that Jammeh had his own negotiations at that level. A Gambian lawyer was representing him in the negotiations. You think negotiations like this, you just take Fabakary, Rambo and others to do it for you? What do they know about negotiations? Without any legal background, without other experiences? What do they know? That still is a scam. There was a proper negotiation done, nothing came out of that. Because what Jammeh wanted, Barrow cannot give. And Jammeh is not stupid. His ego, and why would he do it? What is he going to gain from it? Why would he go into alliance? What's he going to gain from it? Because he knows what powers the executive have, and he knows how limited it is. And this will come to here. This guy, I don't know who wrote this. Let me just read it. I want to credit. He said, "Dear executive members of the APRC, let me chip in here by helping the APRC on their precondition before any coalition or alliance talk with the NPP in particular. Well, I will give you a test condition that the APRC can use to find out Barrow, force ask Barrow to implement that forthwith without any delay, and if he does that, then trust me, it means that he is really ready to protect Jammeh from any judicial procedure. If the APRC really and seriously want to know whether Adama Barrow is not playing a political gimmick only to serve his re-election agenda by using the APRC, I beg the executive of the APRC to force ask Adama Barrow to implement this with immediate effect before any negotiation." What's that? This is very important. He's saying that, look, let me just give you a test. Maurice Cisse, you wrote the statement. Thank you, Mr. Cisse. Maurice said that, luckily I don't look at the comments, but because it's distracting, and luckily I did. Thank you very much. It's sound. It's sound. Now, what this guy is saying, Mr. Cisse is saying here is, let me help you. Common sense. If you want to know, already we know the track record of Adama Barrow. And this is not an allegation. This is evidence of fact. Adama Barrow said it. In time of campaign, anything you say, it doesn't matter. Because you don't have to respect it. You don't have to implement it. It was an election period and I said it. That's enough. Not only that, we have seen all the disappointment. Everything he said. Oh, I will not work with APRC. I have enough Gambians. I will do this. And look, let's go. Not enough. But now, if you want to disregard that, and if any APRC guy said that he trusts Barrow, he's lying. Because of that person himself is a liar. He just want to go, and it's just the money. If any APRC executive tells you that Jammeh is a good person, they're lying. Go and find out. Now it's coming out. Go and find out what they say about Jammeh behind the scenes. But now it's coming out because there's an infighting. Now they're coming out insulting Jammeh and saying Jammeh is a coward. He won't do this. Jammeh is this, is that. Now they're saying that it's between them. I want to say that give it time. Give it time. It will come out. The truth shall lie. He's saying that no, it's easy. If you want to find the truth, let me just give you an example. And let Barrow do that now. Not after elections. Why after elections? That's why I said Jammeh knew this. Jammeh went through all that. It cannot happen. Jammeh knows the guarantees to ask. Let me give you an example. You know Kukoy Samba Sagna? Kukoy came to Gambia. Even took the... Kukoy knew that Jammeh would not pick him up the first visit. No. Kukoy knew that Jammeh would want to have him with his entire network. Jammeh would want to lure him in with his entire network. Kukoy even took that risk to come and face Jammeh and sat with Jammeh. Because Jammeh was in a corner. Because Jammeh wanted Kukoy on his side. Kukoy put preconditions for Jammeh. Jammeh could not deliver. That's why he didn't have an agreement. Preconditions was what? A sub-regional, negotiation. He raised the bar of sub-regional negotiation. Then we have this agreement. And other things he asked for. And Jammeh realized that if I go for this, in fact, I'm making Kukoy more relevant, more important. No, I'd rather leave this one. Let me go for the second one. The second one, it was what? Infiltrate Kukoy's movement. Send one of his tribesmen to join the movement. And lure them into Guinea-Bissau. In promise that they're going to get support. Lure them into Guinea-Bissau with some Guinea-Bissau senior officers. Jammeh gave 10 vehicles, 4-wheel drive for that deal. To induce Nino Vera's government. They went in there and they arrested Kukoy and his entourage. But it's does not only end there. Just to tell you how Yahya Jammeh think. Yahya Jammeh now thought about the extradition. If it fails, what can I do? During the time of locking up, being locked up, the guy that infiltrated Kukoy, that made Kukoy to believe that they're going to get support from Guinea-Bissau. Just shows you too how unsophisticated Kukoy was. Who was that person to make you believe that he have contacts or why Guinea-Bissau would want to support him? But he was desperate. Kukoy lost everything. He could not go anywhere else. He would take anything. That's why I say desperate people are dangerous. Kukoy could have deducted easily that this guy is a bait. If someone is infiltrating, someone is trying to move me. Who are you? What's your background? Why would the Guinea-Bissau government, who is supportive of Jammeh, betray Jammeh and support me? For what? No, he was desperate. It's easy to lure him in. But another second thing that he did, that guy, whilst they were in custody, he was poisoning Kukoy. He was poisoning Kukoy slowly, and eventually that was the cause of Kukoy's death. That's why when you think of Yahya doing something, think properly. Even Yahya relocating himself to Equatorial Guinea, I'll tell you, he have beat some of us in thinking. We never thought he got it up to there. And if anybody thinks that that property in Equatorial Guinea is owned by Equatorial Guinea, it's a lie. It's owned by Yahya. Yahya planned his exit strategy because he have seen other people cornered. He have seen Samuel Doe cornered. He have seen Charles Taylor cornered. He have seen Gaddafi cornered. He have seen other people cornered, dictators cornered, and he went on to think of his exit strategy. That's why he had that property in Equatorial Guinea. That's why everything can be investigated. I can tell you and determine and go for it. You just have to know how to follow the money. But again, this guy said this. Test him. Let him deliver. Just ask Kukoy test Jammeh to deliver. Jammeh could not deliver. And Mr. Sise said, he said that, he said, I beg the executive of the APRC to first ask Adama Barrow to implement this with immediate effect before any negotiation. What is it? That Adama Barrow to withdraw the Gambia as a signatory member to the ICC and become a non-signatory member of the ICC like Equatorial Guinea. That's what it said. That's easy. He said, just ask. Do you know why he would not do that? Remember, Yahya Jammeh came out of the ICC. Because when Yahya Jammeh knew that now, that's why I don't believe anything Fatmata Bensouda said to you. Yahya have committed enough crime that you don't have to look at the magnitude of those crimes to other Sudan and others. No. You have to look at the background of that state. This was a state doing this, I mean, systematically doing it, because there was enough to indict the Yahya Jammeh. Conflict of interest, she would not, because she's part of Yahya Jammeh cabal. But Yahya Jammeh knew now things are getting more serious. What did Yahya Jammeh do? Get himself out of the ICC to make it now, because international law have to apply, to make it difficult for international law to decision unless they come and capture you. Just as in Grenada and other places, they can come and capture you and take you out. I mean, and that only countries like America would act like that. Other civilized countries would not. They would not do that. They abide by international law. Or other countries would just, I mean, send people to get rid of you. But it's interesting here. The guy, Sisi said that, let them do that. Let him do that, because let him try to sponsor that. And it's interesting that some of the things, because also in the negotiation, not directly what Yahya Jammeh have asked for, but these are the kind of guarantees Yahya Jammeh was looking for. Because even during the trial of Yankuba Toure, the negotiations were still going on with Tangara and others. And Yahya Jammeh realized that, look, that indemnity clause I've put in the constitution is not even enough to indemnify me, because Yankuba now is on trial. Now, it continued here to say, it said, well, without him doing this act by withdrawing the Gambia from the ICC, then believe me, take him with no willingness to save Jammeh from justice. He knows that wanting to save Jammeh from justice has implications of being sanctioned by the international community. Wassalam. It has international, it's not about domestic alone. Yahya Jammeh crimes are of international nature. We said that several times. But this, Mr. Sisi, have simplified it here now. That let us talk to, we are not talking about I'm not addressing the executive. I am addressing us to engage in this and go back to our families. To say, look, let us leave Jammeh there until a government comes to pursue him. Among us, let us come together and go and support a party we believe, leaders that we believe they will deliver the Gambia we want. Jammeh should not be a burden to us now. It's a burden to us now because of the victims have not been addressed and everything. We have gone through a process, and that's why we had the TRC, we have the reports and recommendations we submitted. Then, if that comes, we are going to have a government. And we are going to hold that government accountable in order to find, I mean, these things. But again, Jammeh's crimes were not only human rights abuses directly by inflicting torture and killing. Entirely Gambia, the social fabric was completely disseminated. The society as we know it was turned upside down. These are things that we need as people to rebuild. But if we continue on this political scramble with the APRC, making them relevant, how can we? Our politicians even don't have the courage to come out completely to condemn. No. They think that if they condemn the APRC, that's a vote loser. That's politics for you. But if they have courage, I tell you, you could have had their feedbacks. But if they don't have that courage, we should have the courage to expose what Jammeh represents and the APRC represent, to educate our people and go for them and bring them back in the fold. This is what we supposed to do. You see, this has exposed further what we have to deal with. Now, the executive law is done. Let me give you another thing. I have to mention his name. I don't like mentioning him to give them relevance. If you remember, people that follows or believe or listen to Ibu Jallow and Samsa, it's beyond me why any Gambian would believe what these two people say. Well, I don't know why. But people would do that. Oh, Ibu Jallow. And people will hold on to that. But let's just show it again. We need to do this. Now, these people are saying what we were saying. Now they're going after Jammeh. And now reducing Jammeh's importance. Kubisa defuko. APR bisa momoko, beluko. I mean, and such, wow, gis nga, they corrosive, wow, they wow, certain things, yeah, he have to take. Now they saying what we were saying. You see, but this is what we need to do. These people, we don't give them relevance. Why I'm saying it's important just to get it clear to our people, to get the information clear to our people. That's what these people have been doing. You know what these people have been doing? It's a scam. That's why I posted the other day, it's a scam. Yahya Jammeh knew it's a scam. Yahya Jammeh lay an ambush. Yahya Jammeh never. I am not in privy to even tell you the Gambian lawyer that was representing Yahya Jammeh. Yahya Jammeh, people that represent him, people that he deal in the country, the people he deal in the Senegal and other places, we know some of them. We knew some of them. Some of the money been moving around, we knew some of this money. If anybody believes Yahya Jammeh don't have money, is lying. They don't know Yahya Jammeh. The present condition of Yahya Jammeh, we know. The Yahya Jammeh is constantly going into coma because of his diabetics. But Yahya Jammeh will not tell people that he is suffering. Yahya Jammeh will hold on to that. That's Yahya Jammeh for you. He doesn't care. All is about his ego. All about him. And he will want to sit down to say vindicated. Yeah, wahon nalen. Mandeka muna ame Gambia. That's what the guy is. Now they're calling him the names we don't even call Yahya anymore. We did before. We don't have the time to call him those names anymore. It's already been done with the TRRC. But these people, as they normally do, they always run for where they can get something. People that know these people will tell you. And they can lie about anything. They present it, represent it, repackage it just to look good about it. Lie about it. And what they did is, because they were not even talking to Yahya Jammeh. Samsa said that on an audio, that he have not spoke to Yahya Jammeh since 2016. That tells you a lot. After everything that he was the mouthpiece in the impasse, after that impasse, Yahya Jammeh don't need him. 2016, he was hung dry. He was hung dry. And during that time, we all know he's been positioning himself to get something from Barrow. That did not work. The reason they went on to attack Omar Faye, they believed that Omar Faye was the one that went into government and told Barrow's government, don't deal with these people. That's why they went after Omar Faye. That didn't work. They tried everything. Now, let's go and associate with our APRC to use them as a piggyback to get to Barrow. They started their messaging. Because at times you just don't know what they want. They will keep on contradicting themselves within a sentence. Consistency. The only thing they're consistent about is been not consistent, been contradicting themselves. They moved on to all that and went on to boast. You see, what they say in intelligence, win the confidence in order to influence them. They went and won the confidence of the APRC by boasting. I mean, everything they said about Yahya Jammeh before, they moved from there. When the guy that wrote the book, when he referenced the book in that time, he referenced it in a way that, no, I was even angry. And no, he refused. But now he's saying that everything was, yeah, I was angry, but everything was true. Then it was, I was angry, some of it I exaggerated. No, this is the guy. They did that. To the extent, going on to claim, Yahya Jammeh is coming. I know, it's going to come in Ramadan, it's going to come in this. I know. Yahya Jammeh don't talk to them. None of them. All the time they don't know nothing. The little they know is when they engage the APRC on the ground. They made themselves the voice, the spokesperson, the platform, and start attacking the TRRC because they have an interest to that. Attacking anyone, they have an interest to that. They don't know what truth is if it hits them in the face. Who don't know them, they don't know what truth is if it hits them in the face. It's on records. But these people managed to do that. And they got viewing, they got this thing shared, audio been shared, they've been champion. Right now, what is happening? They went in to make this discussion, and again, I have to name him again, Sam Sarr, the audio. The only reason we listen to it is to make to engage, so that we can engage the people and let them understand what's going on. We should not we should take the tension out to show what these evil people are. Sam went on to say that he has not spoken to Yaya since 1996 on audio, and he said when he went to visit Barrow, he said he went to visit Barrow because of he saw the water. I mean, this thing. He want to clean the water. He want to clean the streams from Abuko to I mean from Kotu to Abuko. All those nonsense. When did he become a water engineer? When he become anything? Oh yeah, what expertise does he have? To work in a water plant, does that mean that you know about all this? Now, he said that's why he went and to engage the authorities to do this. That's my passion, that's what I want to do. And yes, in that this thing, I took the opportunity to talk about Yaya Return. That's all a scam. It's all a job hunting. Interesting. He said when he came back from that and obviously announced himself on social media, what he did not say is, the minute he went into State House, it was reported to Yaya. Because Yaya have people listen and watching from different places. Now, he explained that when he came back, he got a call from a person he didn't know to say to him, Yaya, I want to speak to you. Interesting. Now, Yaya never have interest in you. After he hung you dry, after 1996, after everything you did for him, for the impasse, threatening Gambia to go into war with Senegal, making claims about, what guerrilla warfare, that Banjul will be blowed, the soldiers are this, doing everything. This guy dry your hand. Now you went to Barrow, come back from Barrow, and you get a call from someone to say that Jammeh wants to speak to you. Oh yeah, I'm coming to you, so that you can speak to Jammeh. Why did Jammeh not give his number to Sam Sarr to call him? Why Jammeh did not ask for Sam Sarr's number to call Sam Sarr? I'll tell you two reasons for that. That's why I said, if you don't know Jammeh, you don't know Jammeh. I believe that happened. But Jammeh would want to deny that he called Sam Sarr. He don't want a call record. He don't want an evidence. How do I know? Because I know a lot of people that talk to Jammeh, that's how they talk to Jammeh. They don't have a number for Jammeh. Jammeh doesn't call them, they don't call Jammeh. Jammeh calls someone, a courier, and the courier will go there, and he will call the courier's number, and the courier would pass you the phone. And after the courier would take the phone and move away. Now, if anybody respect themselves, you hung me dry for years because I went to speak to Barrow, came back, you want to speak to me, and now you don't even trust me to talk to me directly. You send a courier to talk to me on the phone. And yes, Jammeh wanted to find out what he's going for. Jammeh just wanted to be on the loop on that. And you know, we only know what's been told. But I tell you, Jammeh is smart. He's an intelligence officer. Jammeh might have even dropped certain things in the conversation to get something more. Probably that's what happened. That's the only reason. But after the day, he was never contacted again. Just said Jammeh didn't need him. Jammeh knows that no negotiation. He have not actually. Okay. Jammeh said, okay, yeah, demal guy. That's it. Now, how can that person say that he's a serious person? And he's an intelligent person. He's a smart person. He knows it. He's experienced. He's over 70 years old. Now, you are going out there saying that you represent that person's interest. How can you represent that person's interest? When you have no authority and you are not person. None of them said that, yeah, after every meeting, you need to brief the person you negotiating for. What improvement are there? It's just a scam. No, everything's about themselves to continue. And this was something that happened, I think, we need to get this understood. We need to get this understood. And I said, the reason I even named these people, I know them very well. But I don't want to give them, I don't want to give them 2016, not 1996. Yeah, 2016 elections, yeah, not 1996, thank you very much. I don't want to give them relevance, but to make it clear, I just want to be saying, some people might not get it because probably they never heard about these audios or some of the statements they make. That's why I call them. They're not relevant. But what's relevant about this is to show that Jammeh is nothing to do with our future unless we bring him to justice. And Jammeh is a coward. Jammeh is whatever it is. Yes, and the coward, someone asked me, because he said, look, I was told that Jammeh is a, listen, I said, yeah. I said, look, to be called a coward, I said, because he has something to lose. And I give him an example. I said, when we were kids in Bakau, I lost one of my brother in Bakau, the sea actually. When we were kids, very young, we used to go to a place called Edgar, French Council, MRC. That's the distance. You have Edgar Force, and then have French Council, then have MRC. The deeper you go, that's MRC. And what we used to do is we go up there, and because of it's deep, and you have to go dive down and pick sand, like a competition to prove how good you were. And because of as you stayed out there, at times the currents change during the evening because we might be there for distance and you are tired because you are using your energy. You have to use your energy because you cannot stand on the sun because you'll be drowned. You'll be using your distance. And when we coming back, if the current change, coming back is difficult. And you feel tired. You feel all these things. And we have lost our friends. But that doesn't stop us. After 2-3 weeks, everything will be said, we'll go back out there and do the same thing. As we have, in many cases, we almost drown. But because we are kids, we don't know the values of life or anything. When I grow up, and now I go to the beach, I cannot even go past my knee. I have to, that's where I stop. Because I have to think about my wife, my kids, my other things. I am scared, I'm a coward, yes. To be called a coward in that sense, that's what it means. You have something to lose. When they are desperate, most people, desperation causes them to be called heroes. But it's not that because they're going. And I said, look, that's why we should be careful. Jammeh is desperate, he's egoistic and everything else. We should not allow this person. We should not allow the politicians to see APRC as a bargaining chip or anything. They shouldn't be relevant. I don't mean that the card holders of APRC are not important. They are equally important as us, who support whatever party you support. They are equal like you. They're citizens. What I'm saying is, the executives that are scammers and Jammeh himself, they have no interest. But these people are extension of our families. Let's go and have a discussion. Let them come and join our parties. But if any political party in the opposition, my opposition to Barrow is out there, glaring. Any party in the opposition goes to alliance with Barrow, with Jammeh, I put in the same box. That's what you stand for. I cannot see anything that APRC would stand for apart from for Jammeh. APRC is Jammeh, Jammeh is APRC. Let's forget about that. Let's come to the other part of the discussion. Sorry for taking long. I took an hour on that. I thought it's going to be 10 minutes. Took an hour to get to the details. At times, we miscalculate. The issue is about transparency and accountability. And in this discussion, why is it important? We have to be, you can see the importance of transparency there. If we are transparent, it helps to be accountable. And these people, because of the way we behave, most of our people cannot see to understand what is going on. There's no transparency in the way we do things. Everybody will use excuses, as if everybody will use sentiments, and to win support, rather than just transparently come out to put the facts. This is what 22 years of Jammeh represented. It's not to the interest of no ethnic group, no interest to no region, no anybody, apart from himself and people that believe they benefited from it. The Gambia did not benefit from nothing. And for anybody who is smart enough, again, if you want to say, but 22 years of Jammeh built here, do you expect a government to be in place for 22 years with your taxes and your resources and everything and will not build anything for you? That's one. Why do you expect a government for 22 years would not build anything? And two, people that want to say, but what have PPP done? I've just shared the other day what PPP inherited. Not roads, not nothing, not a reserve, not nothing. Not a system, in fact. We came from colony, we went into multi-party. They inherited a divided country where you call the province with the protectorate people, and you have what we call the union here, Cape Banjul, Greater Banjul area, Cape Point, and Cape St. Mary and Kombo St. Mary. This divided nation. But one thing they achieved, and many things. We have our own currency, central bank. We never do. If you know the support that we received from Sierra Leone when the time of independence, go and read Andrews Camara, and tell you how they manage to do certain things. If you I forgot the number of how many Gambians. I think it's very important. I have to do that. Just a minute, because I have to do it. I have it somewhere. I have it somewhere just to give you stats for Gambians. I'm just giving a portion here. He said, at the time of independence, over 25% of our current budget was funded by the British. We had a very poor, if any, industrial base of any kind. Education was totally forgotten. The primary school built by government were mainly in 1956, which means that by 1965, none of these students had graduated from high school. Our human capital was in dire straits. There were less than 40 Gambians with a post-secondary school education in 1965. 40. How many did we have by 1994? 1965, and less than 40 Gambians in 1965, and less than 40 registered taxis in the colony. Banjul and Kombo St. Mary, the colony. We don't talk about the province, just the colony. Less than 40. No decent road, no any kind of any kind, and in the protectorate is the provinces. Feeder roads passable only on foot in the dry season, where the only means of connecting settlements. Mortality rate was high due to poor healthcare delivery system. You see, these are the facts. But let me give you an example. The port of Banjul. The port of Banjul today, the infrastructure, the modern infrastructure port of Banjul was built by the PPP, is still there. Not Yahya Jammeh, not Barrow. And look at the problems we have with congestion, because they have no strategic planning. And this project they were trying to achieve still cannot achieve. 1994 it was at the there, and no, technically hardly any African country was thinking that way. It was to turn the Gambia into the supermarket of West Africa. It was to open, the free port and the airport was going to be expanded and everything. That was the plan. And they started with the seaport. That's why we have places that the cargo ships, anchor. The Chinese built that at that time. Those are still the ones we have up to today. No new ones by this essence of anything else. And we can go on and go on and go on. Without those foundations, we could not have, what we have, these things, and Gambians should know that. But when we talk about transparency in this case, looking at the KMC saga, we have to look at the evidence and we have to look at politics. It's important to check this out. And let me just read what I came across, because I had a bit of the press conference and so on. Let me just read what I came across. but that was just a sum up. What I came across is just a sum up of everything else. But I think it's covered everything. Copied from FlexDan. 12 million KMC corrupt scandal amid appointment of forced female deputy mayor. KMC Mayor Talib Ahmed Bensouda alleged that sometime in June of this year, his office intercepted financial transaction initiated and entered into by Ms. Sonko involving 12 million. Mayor Bensouda further alleged that Ms. Sonko entered illegal transaction without lawful authority to the tune of 12 million. These illegal transactions were completed with the co-signature of the Director of Finance, Dr. Aliu Keita. The scam involved Ajib Bank, where a 12 million loan was taken in the name of the Staff Welfare Association on behalf of the 37 staff without their knowledge or consent. And Mayor Bensouda alleged that the CEO Sonko used these funds to acquire a property which we believe to have been grossly overvalued, and she forged council documents and approvals to obtain a guarantee purported from KMC to secure the loan. Deputy Mayor Musaba has tabled his resignation, which the mayor announced he accepted on Monday. However, CEO Ms. Sonko is refusing to budge. Now Ms. Sonko is refusing to budge. Interesting, there's another article, the letter actually, and an article explaining in July 12th, I think, Ms. Sonko have admitted of this crime, but now she's refusing to budge. It's interesting, we will have to look at that. Replacing him, this is Mr. Musaba. Replacing him is Ms. Binta Jane Jallow, who will be the first ever female deputy mayor in Carnifing Municipal, noted Mayor Bensouda. Thank you very much for that. It is not clear if Deputy Mayor Musaba resignation is a result of his involvement in the 12 million scam. 7.6 million have been recovered, meaning that the approximately 4.4 million is still left unaccounted for. By reading this and of actually listening to Talib, my emphasis and my coverage here, I'll take you on the other side, but mainly would be on Musaba. On Musaba, it's not clear. Just as in the statement here, why did he resign? I heard Talib said for family reasons he resigned, but we need to really get the bottom of this. It's very important. Transparency, accountability is important. But again, what I have to say and give credit for is this. We have heard the allegations with evidence, in fact, everywhere in that country. Everywhere, technically. The worst of worst. We never hear anything. Even to the point of the police, a recommendation was made by the police for prosecution in the case of the forced fertilizer scandal. And now, don't forget, we have 2 weeks ago a fertilizer scandal. We have not seen actions taken. I cannot count. I cannot count. I know I'm counting on the days for the drugs. I'm thinking of counting some, doing other counts on other things. But this tells us something. We have something here, but it's not enough. We should look into details and get to the bottom of this. It's beneficial for us. Gambia is beneficial for us. And for all political actors, especially the UDP, because this is their council, especially the UDP. But again, for the opposition, the other opposition parties should engage into this matter. And I say engage into this matter, I don't mean partisanly. They are given now an opportunity. There are many opportunities being given to the opposition in the House of Parliament. Ahmad Ba case and other cases, the Simplex and other cases. But no, they will never get into details. But this is an opportunity to get into details. Use your political parties in order to get to the detail of this. Because it will be a test case. And at the end of this, I'll show you where the test case is. And it will improve our governance. UDP as the council, if they do things right, they benefit from that. The other parties, by engaging it, they benefit from that because people will see how responsible they are in holding accountability. But not only that, we entirely will benefit because of then Gambians will benefit from seeing how accountability works. We should apply that. Now, how I got to know about it and my thoughts. I have seen these allegations before. Someone sent it to me. 2 people actually. And I engaged them on this. I said, I'm not saying it's not true. But if this is true, let me just say it clear. This was my thoughts when I first, about a few days ago. I said, if this is true, the mayor should know something about this. If not, if the mayor did not know about this, then the person behind this must be very brave. Because the story before that was presented, it was presented as if, you see, we have to be very careful the way stories are given, as if it was a leak, that nothing, like it was something happened and they managed to bring it out to public decision, and they said that a land was bought and overpriced. Yes, there's a fact of that, but the way it was presented, it was all like a land transaction. But the detail we have today makes us even to understand more about the story. That's why I said leaks can be beneficial in many ways. But that's why, again, when you get something, you got to be careful. Why did I think that? I said for 12 million to come out of the coffers of KMC, no, that have to go through a system. There must be a system there to find out. 12 million is not a small amount to come out of KMC, especially to be spent on land. To buy a land, KMC to buy a land, the process they have to go through. I said, knowing Talib, his background, no, he knows the value. You cannot say, because they said that the land value 3 million and they end up valuing 11 million. I said, no, you cannot just, put a hefty difference like this and get away with it. That was my thought. Then, but when this came out, we find out the money, in fact, it's not from KMC. Now, it's a loan. You see, the original this thing, article, we didn't know it was a loan. It's a loan. Now, we understand it's a loan. That's how it happened. But again, as I said, there's a system. Now, there's a system in place. What happened? The person who have, this executive managed to override that. Override that by forging or doing things without the consent of the people and forging them in order to access this. I know people are talking about the and now this is how it happened. I thought, yeah, that he override the system. There was a system there. He override the system. But now with this loan, we have to check how robust the mechanisms are, the internal control mechanisms of the council. And this is not a criticism to Talib. It's just constructive engagement in a sense, because at times we think we have something robust until something happens. We find out, oh, this is not robust. But again, I know the councils are governed by the Local Government Act. In fact, there are certain areas the mayor does not have powers, and I want that people to understand that as well. When we look at it in this case, we have to realize the powers of the mayor in some of these internal matters. Yes, he has powers, but there are certain things that can only get to him in certain ways. But there, he should be informed. But if someone go out of the system, that's why it should be robust, to counter people going out of the system. Because this thing said they went out of the system. We should always think of a robust system by asking if. We just don't take it for granted. Yeah, oh, This is how it moves. Well, why, if we have a safety net, if Ben Suare decided to do it a different way, how can we know about this? How can we know about this? This is important. But again, if human beings are willing, that's why corruption will be everywhere. But what you do when you detect corruption, what you do to prevent corruption, these are important things. That's why I don't want this discussion to be partisan. I know many people are looking at partisan lenses. When we look at partisan lenses, what we do, we lose the importance of the engagement because we don't benefit from it. And that's not what I stand for. I want us to use our independent lenses by seeing the interest here and look at the facts. Now, the robust system that we needed, the internal mechanisms that do. But again, another point is the oversight agencies. Now, let's say, how comes we have, as people are celebrating, and I know why people are celebrating. Because people are celebrating what the mayor did, he just did his job. Why did we celebrate? Because it's something kind of new or unheard of. That tells us how low the bar is. This is not a dig at, I'm saying the system, the reality is on the ground. It's like you catch a thief, a policeman catch a thief, I mean, a normal thief. We celebrate because of policemen don't catch thieves. When their mandate is to catch prevent thieves and catch thieves. But in this case, that's why. But we celebrate on that. Obviously, when someone do something, in this case, become extraordinary, normally, it's just a normal routine. But we did not, according to Talib, we don't even know. There are 10 other people being such. What level? Probably they're not high profile. Corruption do happen and will happen. What we do about it is important. But that's why I say it's good that it's coming out this way and we have to engage not on the partisan lenses. The oversight authorities. You see, the oversight authorities, we have seen the, I don't know why he's not still sacked, the internal audit department. Because of Gambia, whoever do a good job, you'll be sacked. The internal audit department have done brilliant. They have done brilliant recently. Exposing. Not one came to trial. Not one been dealt with. The press, part of the press, Mr. Dabo, Mustafa Swandi Dabo, Flex Dan, Mustafa Swandi Dabo, mainly came out with explosive, evidence-based reporting. The COVID money and then different form of corruption. Not one case been picked up by the police and the justice system. Remember, the justice ministry is not only the legal arm of this thing, but no, they have a they are to prosecute. They have that mandate as well, but they don't use that mandate. The oversight authorities here, we have to look at again. Are they using their powers enough? We cannot blame Barrow for that. They have enough powers to use. People say anti-corruption laws. No, we have enough legislative to deal with this. Theft and other things. I'll come to bribery. I've never had a bribery case in the Gambia, and we'll come to that. The other part is the prevalent realities of corruption and the government, now, let's look at the reality of corruption in the Gambia. Where does this come from? We all know Yaya Jammeh was corrupt. We all know and believe Jawara government was corrupt. What's the evidence? People do not know. Before, we heard about the cooperative case. We heard about the commercial bank. We heard about the, agricultural development bank. Now, imagine commercial bank was still with us. Imagine the Agricultural Development Bank was still with us. Imagine the Cooperative Union was still with us. You see, that's why corruption is dangerous. And corruption led us to where we are today. These are just three I choose. Do you know just before the coup, years in the early 90s, you on a Friday, it's always happened on a Friday. I don't know why things happen Friday in the Gambia. Friday morning, bombshell. I know why. But one of the reasons, and as strategists or intelligence officers will tell you, do something on a Friday. By the weekend, it dies off. Monday, people wake up with different problems. That's why in most cases, weekends, people relax and things die off. If you do it on Monday, you go to the office Tuesday, it will go until Friday. But we used to hear Bongsang, 10 custom officers sacked. No prosecution. 5 custom officers sacked. And as we see in that report, the evidence is there, corruption. They sacked, nothing. And most of these custom officers, because of small Gambia, we know who they connected to in government, why they are not punished. And we see the evidence. In those days, it wasn't much. Now, if you look at it, it's not even much, but in those days, it's much. They count 3 compounds, bungalows. They build bungalows. Now they don't build bungalows. Now they build mansions. 3 compounds, bungalows. They have 2, 3 wives. Their children, you see the evidence in their children, their lifestyle. And you see the evidence in them. Every Gambian is kind of a malnourished, small. And customer officers are always that decent. You see the evidence. Because we know all that they all receiving the same salary like us. You see? This was a fact of corruption, not been punished. Shehu Sabally been called out by Ashantiks. And that's why I say Gambia political history, we need to, if we ignore our history, this is what happened. Shehu Sabally been exposed by Ashantiks of what happened at the cooperative and others. Shehu Sabally decided to do the mistake of taking Ashantiks to the courts. Guess what? He was exposed of that corruption. What happened? Shehu Sabally was technically promoted from finance minister to vice president. What does that do? Then you have people that went to took loans from commercial bank, taking advance on the newspapers, saying that whoever take me to court, let's see, whoever take my property. You see, in a country that citizens will challenge the government to say that whoever take, and knowing that you wronged, those properties were loans that you took from government. But who the person was, we all know. The reason why he was doing it, he knows as far, hence Jawara government was on, he'll be untouchable. You see how things get informed. Why the coup had been popular. We have to, that's why accountability, transparency and accountability is very important. People ask for evidence, we just tell them, look at the evidence on the person we accuse. What salary do they receive and what lifestyle do they have? That's how we say it. But if you talk about corruption in Gambia, Jawara government, it's like a drop of a single drop of water in the ocean compared to Yaya Jammeh. And the systematic corruption that was in Yaya Jammeh's government, it's just mind-boggling. It was worse than a cartel running a government, because we have seen that evidence. But we had an opportunity. What happened? Now, we're talking about a cartel running a government. Now, it's like the cartel is the government. The cartel is the government. That's what we have under Adama Barrow. By what? Appointing the people that were running the cartel for Jammeh, Mamburin Jai and others, and coming to disregard the commissions of inquiry on Janneh Commission. Moving on to that, not only disregard it, the recovery assets from that commission was actually squandered by the same Barrow's government. Not only that, continue to squander opportunities and orders, squander to the extent of the pledge from the international donor community. You see, people don't understand the crimes that can be charged on Barrow. He squandered the opportunity, already a pledge there, and because of his performance in government, we didn't have that money. We can hold him responsible for that. Not only that, he squandered that chance. But in fact, and now he could not have money to do his other stealing. He invent projects. And all these projects, I'm not talking about the Chinese projects. The Chinese projects is a different thing. I mean the projects that he said that he's going to sponsor himself by taking domestic loans. internal debts. He created this thing for political decision, but the other incentive was corruption and the people that he is command. And this corruption went on, and do what? And to, put scarcity of finances in the market and everything, and just taking everything. He recreated what Jammeh was trying. Jammeh had Paboya and Ansumana Jammeh. He has Njaga Sane and Amadou Sane, his nephews. Now they are the tycoons in the Gambia. And he has his other cabal members to support. And the cabal members were all the same people went with Jammeh. He just inherited them. Jammeh took the mines, his sand mines in the Gambia, and give it to a Lebanese guy to control for him. He took the sand mines and give it to Jawara to control for him. Tony Gada or something was given the mines to control for him. We don't know the process. But he got Jawara to do that for him. Now Jawara goes out there to campaign for him. This is the level of corruption we got onto. But he he just took it to another level. You see, even in the time of Jammeh will prosecute people that will steal for him. He will steal it and prosecute. He will ask you to do it, and then he'll prosecute you because of you took some of that. Some of that. He doesn't want you to take anything until he gives you something. But Barrow cannot even prosecute anybody because he's that weak. Because everybody knew what's happening. There's no case that Barrow can touch. And I'll tell you one thing. If KMC have sat on this case, nothing will come out of it. Because they don't want a precedence. They don't want to start it. They don't want to open the cans of worms. If KMC have sat on this case, nothing will come out of it. Not today. I don't know next government, but not today. Not the Barrow government. What are they going to say? They want to start? Let's go. The cans of worms. Everywhere else. Land, sea, anything. The evidence out there. But why am I saying this? To put, I don't want to look at KMC just narrowly. I want us to look at it in a way that we can take an opportunity and let it be the start. You see, we had an opportunity with the Social Security, the reforms of the Social Security, transformation of Social Security. Barrow and his guys, look at it now. It's going back to where it was. It was an opportunity and to be used as a template, and every CS, this thing to be changed. But no, literally he gave back all the institutions back to Jammeh's enablers to enable him to steal. This is what happened. But we have an opportunity here again. I want us to take this opportunity, and it's important to note why it's an opportunity, because it's the opposition here, to be held accountable. Now, what are the preventative measures we learned from what happened? As I said, when we look at this, we have to learn. And I hope and I believe that Mayor Talib will look at it and say, look, we have to look at our internal controls now. But again, as I said, be careful. There are certain things that cannot be changed until you change the Local Government Act. The mayor does not have powers over certain things or change certain things. We have to change the Local Government Act in order to do that. That's important to note. But that is something that we can discuss another time and see it. We can usually take the opportunity looking at this case. Where I generally on the issue about the loan and the chief executive officer involved and others, I believe it's been handled well. I believe that bit has been handled well. Because why? It's in July. And when if you detect, nobody report, according to what we understand from the interview, Talib detected, or the mayor office detected abnormalities, and they went into investigation. You cannot just rush to this investigation, and during the investigation there's a process. They went through the process, and by the 12th of July a statement was written that the lady admitted to the crime. The 12th of July. And the process was going on. Why did it take that long? That's a question we need to put to Talib. I thought the journalists were asked the question, why did it take long? When he admitted in 12th of July, why straight away not go on suspend? But again, that's why I said we should ask ourselves, why did he admit? Did he think that admitted to it, now they would just try and bury it with it? I'll apologize, let's bury it, let's see how to fix this thing. Was it that was going on? I don't know. But I want us to critically think about that, because we want this to be a test case, to something that we can work on and to replicate. You see, why do I say the UDP will benefit from this if they do it right? They will win confidence. Wow, this is because already UDP is saying this is what a UDP government will look like. Do it properly then, so that we can see what a UDP government will be. Now, the opposition, this is where we should come in. This is where you said an opposition should hold an opposition accountable. Where you think they are in charge of something, hold them to accountable. But don't do it on partisan lenses just to try to, no, do it right. Do it right. If there's evidence, take out that evidence. Take out that evidence. We continue here to look at this other position. Now, the deputy mayor, about the deputy mayor, that's where things are not clear. And I think Talib have to come out and clear the air. It's not enough. But let's look at what happened here. During Talib's presentation, Talib did not allude to any malpractice. All he said was that the mayor the deputy mayor have resigned on personal reasons. I know it's a fact. The deputy mayor have just lost, I believe, I'm not sure, a parent, but I think, if I'm right, 2 parents. We all know, I mean, losing one parent, I mean, most of us know losing what it meant to lose one parent. But to lose 2 parents within a short period, within a week or whatever, is daunting. I cannot just want to imagine it, because it's just impossible to imagine. People have experience who will tell you, but with empathy we can just know that that's that might be a good reason for anyone to resign from a job, thinking that your head is not clear and you can't do your job. And again, deputy mayor, it's not an appointment from the mayor, but it's something that comes from the councillors. They select the person or vote for the person they want to represent them as the deputy mayor. It's not directly voted from the outside, it's within the structures. But there is Talib did replied to the allegation that is it the mayor, the deputy mayor have left due to the allegation of bribery or asking for bribery, which was captured in an audio. Talib said they got hold of that audio. They are still to ascertain the facts behind that audio and so on. Is it due to the availability of that audio, and with these things happening, the deputy mayor decided that, let me jump. Yes, people that understand administration will tell you this. When you do that, you jump. For the administration, you resign, their hands will be tied, in a sense. That cannot stop them from investigating further, but you are already gone. They cannot punish you. You are already gone. You resign, you're gone. That what left now is for the other oversight authorities, what they do. The police and other justice ministry and other authorities to do, or oversight authorities to do. The press, the civil society to do. What is actually the fact? That's why we need to follow up this conversation in order to do justice. Let us not just clap and say it's finished. No, it's not. We should go deep down to find out why the mayor resigned. What's the real reason? What is this allegation about? I did not hear the audio. I've tried few people, they say they haven't got it. I've not had the audio. I don't even know the guy. I will not know whether his voice or whatever it is, or what is said in this audio. But I believe it exists, because I've seen people allude to its existence. I believe those people would not lie about it, because I know them. not personally know them, but some people I know, that they would not lie about this, because they are not people that will lie about stuff like that. But we understand the special circumstance, the empathy, and yes, we have to be very sensitive in doing this. But again, the facts have to be established. It's a serious allegation for a deputy mayor to ask for bribe. I know in the Gambia we don't have precedents on dealing with these issues, but it's important, and I'll tell you why it's important. Because once the evidence is established, again, it's an allegation. What did the mayor find out? We need to follow. What did you find out? To say that he resigned, fine. You cannot punish him now. He's resigned from the council, from the administration of the council. But he's still a councillor, isn't he? That we need to find out, and that investigation need to go to establish it. And what else? I'll talk about what else we expect to happen if the evidence are found. This evidence need to be established whether it happened. And the circumstances of this recording too have to be established. If it happens, if it's a fact, the person he spoke to ask for bribe have to be brought forward. That company, if that company did not disclose this to the mayor, if the company that have a contract with the mayor, with the KMC, had this audio, recorded this audio and kept it with them, or leaked it, or anywhere else, rather than report it to the council. If they did not report to the council, that they have to be held accountable. Why did they keep it? Were they using it as a ransom? Did they use this to hold ransom, Mr. Bat on ransom? We don't know. That's why the investigations are important, and the KMC need to get an external agency to investigate this. You should not investigate yourself in this sense. You should get an external agency to come out and investigate this allegation against the deputy mayor. This should happen in order for transparency, and then accountability can be ensured. You should not investigate yourself, and considering that Mr. Ba is a member of the same political party, UDP, that the mayor belongs. That will call a conflict of interest. Then the mayor need to rescue himself, or rescue the council, in a sense that let them get an independent body to investigate, be the ombudsman and others to look at that. I think that needed to be addressed. His resignation, what does that affect? It affect the investigation? No. Investigation. What it affects is the council on that point dealing with him, but does not mean that the other oversight agency cannot deal with him. What should be done by KMC and UDP? Why UDP? Because he is a UDP councillor. UDP should suspend the councillor, depending on their preliminary inquiries, investigation. If they establish that this audio, this recording was the deputy mayor, who is a councillor of UDP in Erenjang ward, then that's have warrant the party to suspend him, to further investigate. If they found complete these things, or he admit to it, he should be sacked from the party, or sacked as a councillor. From the who sacked, I don't know who have the power to sack a councillor. Sorry, but he should be sacked from the party. The party should disassociate themselves from him. I believe the party does that. People respect them more, because people will hold you on the small things. How you deal with that small things? If you can deal with the small things properly, then the big things we have hope that you will deliver on. But if you fail to deliver on these small things, you will have problem convincing people that when it's a big scandal at a ministerial level, big scandal at that certain level, that you're able to deal with it. I think that's why it's important to UDP to take this opportunity to investigate this properly. Not only about KMC, this is about their councillor who represents their political party at a ward in Erenjang, Serekunda. But the oversight agencies, KMC, should do their investigations again. Why? Why do you do these investigations? To, in fact, again, asking for bribery is corruption. Not only about this bribery, to investigate if, because if you open an investigation, you find out if the deputy mayor have involved in other malpractices. Because it's important. That case cannot be closed. The case cannot be closed. But now, if that happens, UDP cannot take the guy to court. UDP cannot defy him to be charged. No, they cannot do that. KMC can. Even after he left, they can make a recommendation. He left, but they can make a recommendation. But I'll tell you what, making a recommendation doesn't mean he's going to be charged. No. What will happen? What will happen? NPP will run to him to say that, look, come and join us. You'll not be prosecuted. Where did I get this from? Evidence on the passport scandal. All those people affected on the passport scandal or other scandals, what do you do? Go and join NPP. Even people that have private transactions and corrupted, what do you do? Go and join NPP. And you know, during the Yahya Jammeh time, it happened. So if you would say, go and join Yahya Jammeh, then you'll be avoiding that prosecution. Now, that's the practice. He will not be prosecuted. One NPP will go after him, come and join us. If he refuses to hold on. You see, mistakes do happen. I'm not condemning him that this is, but he committed a crime. If he's found guilty, that's a crime. But who have ever been punished for soliciting bribe? No one in the Gambia. If it happened during Yahya Jammeh time, I'm not talking about that. We all know how these things work. I cannot take that as a test case. No. As a test case, we all know most of these things are fabricated. I wouldn't even entertain that. You want to tell me that people are not asking about bribe every day? But the police themselves, they don't want to do that, to charge him. Then that will be open a can of worms. That's why I say it's important to push this case. It's not against the gentleman, but it's about to prove that practically we are fighting corruption. I talk about transparency, to build systems and to look at it and to people do inquire, investigate, to people to be aware that things are transparent. But the police would not charge this person. The government would not push the police to charge this person for soliciting bribe. If it does, Gambia would be better off. Now, all you have to do is make sure if anybody asks for bribe, get the evidence and take it to the police. And they will have to charge them. That way we'll fight this asking of bribery, especially where it really matters. Where it really matters, the big bribes they're asking for. But in fact, the police will be a problem for them to ask for bribe, for the njigi attire and orders. I'm not saying even begging, but in a sense bribe and things can be defensive. That's why I said it's very important on this case. But what is happening? That's not what happened with Gambia. We are using our partisan lenses to deal with this case. Partisan lenses to deal with this case. Yeah, UDP will celebrate. And what they celebrate would be based on the merits of what the Talib have done the right thing on the loan issues and others. But nobody would highlight the issue that the issue about the deputy mayor have to be investigated further. And so that the same actions taken here would be taken on that. But again, the other people from other parties against the UDP don't want to even give credit where credit due. No, they want to point something onto the moves that Talib have taken without basing it on any evidence that there was malpractice from the side of the mayor, because we don't have that evidence. What is the evidence produced before us? The due process was followed and is had followed. Because if it happens in June and by now, everything that needed to be done was done and is here. And again, why we give credit? I know, as I said, we are celebrating this as a big thing. It's a big thing in the Gambia because it doesn't happen in the Gambia. For an institution to come in and provided evidence on within and say that these people are suspended and been passed on to the passed on to the justice system. We have seen the case of Social Security when transformation was about to happen. Things it was politicized. They turn it into politics. We should avoid those things. We can speak from our political platforms, but let's just see the facts. Let's base it on the facts. Let us be logical. It's not all the time that we can have the evidence, but we can be logical in our argument and to follow that through. Should not be. These are institutions. Political parties are institutions. They can demand for things and it happen. Civil societies are institutions. They can demand for things to happen. That's why the press should do that. They should demand things to happen, but just to come to squat. I mean, be on social media just for the sake of it. That's why we need to engage in order to improve the situation. This is about accountability. This is about transparency. It's not only about KMC. Shouldn't be the scope. Should not be only KMC. And in KMC, it's not only stop with the CEO, but it should go to the political side of it. That's why I said the discussion was based on evidence and the political. The political aspect is the deputy mayor. We need more transparency on that. We need accountability on the issue surrounding the deputy mayor in order for things to be right. And Gambia would benefit. All political parties would benefit that engage this properly. The UDP would benefit more than anyone because of that. They prove that they can do things right. As I said, if you can deliver on small things, prove that you will deal with the big things. But if you fail to deliver on the small things, people will not have hope that you will deliver on the big things. Thank you very much, guys. It's been a long one. I was planning for an hour program. It's almost to 1 hour 50 minutes. But for people that just join in, it's about accountability, about transparency. But we had almost 1 hour dedicated to the Jammeh saga with the executive. But if you have time to listen to that, you will know why is it important for us to talk about that. And then we talked about this KMC saga. But as I said, there's not much to talk about because most of it is out there, but there's some things that are not out. What we have to do, yes, applaud the mayor for doing it because it's unheard of, especially in this government. Yahya Jammeh would do it to abuse because he's a bigger thief. He will steal and even ask you to steal for him and still punish you, and you can do nothing about it. But Barrow is in fact the worst. Now the cartel is the government. Nothing will be investigated. If investigated, nothing will be prosecuted. There's nothing like prosecution. That's why we have what we have. And Barrow has said it from a few weeks ago that, oh, it's not this national interest to prosecute people that do big corruption. And Gambia, the bit I want to end up with. Now look at this. Now, if these big corruptions are happening, a chief executive officer decided to access $12 million. Do you see the pressure on people now? Why does he need a $12 million? Because he wants to live a lifestyle. And you know, don't be deceived. That's why I said don't be deceived by people's appearance. Wearing the scarf and everything, mashallah, mashallah. I'm not digging on people that do that. But that should not be how we judge the people. The Rastafarian might be the most honest person, but we will take the Rastafarian as untrustworthy. I don't know where we base that, but it's just a mindset. But let's dig in and see what people do. Now, this corruption is going on every day, everywhere. But we never hear of any investigation, never hear of any prosecution or anything. But we always go for the small this thing. This is the problem of Gambia and Africa for that matter. The corruption is stopping money to be invested in the right places. Students are being failed, jobs are not being created. I mean, it's causing the inflation. Standard of living, and these people are building what they think is their life against the misery and hunger of people. Now we will run out there and hold a thief that was trying to get our Tobaski, this thing, or even chicken, and will beat them to death and just justify that. And you hear people saying, yes, why not because they're doing it. But the same people would see our big thieves, but they will not even comment about it. This is the problem we have. And people that, as we always say, we know the evidence, where the evidence is. Go and look the houses they build, go and look the lifestyle they have, where they go and look at the schools their children go to, and go and find out how much they earn. That tells you the corruption. Now, this has to change. That's why we have to take these elections very seriously and make it out of issues. Let it be about the issues that borders us more. Let us not give this relevant to this APRC. Let them squander. It's not sustainable. They're not going to be together. It cannot be. It's a scam. They're running among themselves. Let us leave them with that. Barrow has been scammed and he's trying to scam, and they're scamming each other. But we have to engage our people in the APRC. The people I mean, the card holders, are extension of our families. We engage each other, educate each other, and we move on and let them come and support our political parties. But any opposition party takes up APRC as a running mate or whatever at this level, I mean the APRC as a party, someone like me will come after you. I don't go after opposition parties. As I said, it's my principle. I hold them accountable by advice, asking questions, and reach out, and I mean, whether advice online or reach out privately with people I have the relationship with. I don't go to castigate them or agitate them. I leave that for the incumbent. That's the way we level the playing field, because the incumbent have enough resources, enough everything. If we keep on attacking each other in this opposition, we who oppose the incumbent, how do we win the incumbent? Who wins will be determined by the people. What we need to level the playing field, hold each other accountable. We can hold each other accountable. Political parties can do that. But not to spend our time and anything to look for things that we haven't even seen, are not existent. But let's concentrate on what we need to do. And I know it's politics, but should not stop us from having courage. Let's condemn the APRC for what they are. And this is the executive I mean. As an institution, that's what they represent. And let's not think that would give us, doing that would not give us support from them. Let's make them aware of what is going on. It's not to their interest. Yahya Jammeh will never come back as a free person, and if we are not even quick, Yahya Jammeh might not be around. Some people will take them to the court before us. But if we have a new government, there's an opportunity here, as I said. There's international laws available, avenues available to recover almost $1 billion of funds taken by Yahya Jammeh and his cartel from the country. If we have a new government, there's an opportunity, if the government is right, to go for millions and millions of dollars from this cartel, this government and this cartel. And that enough money to start to rebuild that country, and that country can be rebuilt. Thank you very much, guys, and have a good day. Thank you.